Hey guys, Claire here. In today's video, we're going to talk about all things Harry and Meghan. New photos and videos of Prince Harry and Meghan meeting the staff of Save the Children Nigeria have emerged. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex were invited to an event by the charity's global ambassador, director, and activist Misan Harriman. At the event, Harry and Meghan were introduced to two youth ambassadors who spoke about their work addressing issues ranging from child marriage to gender-based violence, access to education and healthcare, and the plight of internally displaced children. Save the Children Nigeria, Save the Children Canada, and UK have all posted on their official social media platforms about the Duke and Duchess's trip to the Abuja chapter. Now, this is not the first time that the Sussexes has had a relationship with Save the Children Nigeria. In 2022, Harry and Meghan's Archwell Foundation donated to Save the Children after those devastating floodings. Now, someone on Twitter said that these two, meaning Harry and Meghan, do more in 3 days than the working royals do in 3 months. And the best thing is that they cost the British taxpayer nothing, and they're not a slave to the royal rota. And then I have to say, I agree. Looking back on all the photos and videos that I've been saving while I've covered the 3-day trip in Nigeria, they really packed in a lot of different events over those 3 days. So, yeah. Can't argue with that. Harry and Meghan will be on the People May 2024 cover that states Harry and Meghan back in action. People magazine got an exclusive insight into Harry and Meghan's trip where it was hinted that the couple will be doing even more visits. So that's something to look forward to. And from seeing some of the newly released HD photos of the 3-day trip to Nigeria, I'd just like to say that a lot of the British tabloids insist that this was not a royal tour or a quasi-royal tour. And personally, I don't think it's a royal tour. I think it's better. So much better. Beyond the beauty and the camaraderie between these local organizations in Nigeria and the Archwell and Invictus Foundations, I feel like there's so much good that has been done in those 3 days. Looking forward to seeing that Invictus style center for the veterans. Looking forward to seeing the facilities for Giants of Africa being built and to more trips. I mean, look how beautiful the Nigerian aunties look in this one. Or this one, Harry and Meghan with the 3 kings of Nigeria. And I honestly feel like the success of this trip has, well, it's caused a meltdown from the usual suspects. But it really highlights that with the amount of bashing that Harry and Meghan has received over the years and continue to this day, they've really done something phenomenal since stepping back from the royal establishment. Like that person said, they don't cost the British taxpayers a dime, and they're not a slave to the royal rota. They do what they want, how they want, when they want. They're self-funded, and they're very well received globally. So it's not surprising that you'll see the British press sinking so low as to create a huge scandal over a clerical error that was cleared up in less than 24 hours. Seeing the governor of California come out in defense of Harry and Meghan and not only defend them and say, hey, they are in compliance. It was a technical paperwork issue. It's widely overhyped. Not only that, but he took a little jab at members of the media who saw fit to take this thing that was a non-issue and try to create something out of it. And he also talked about the good work that Archwell Foundation does.
Unbelievable amount of attention that has been placed on the Archwell Foundation. I'm here at a behavioral health site, a mental health site. Archwell Foundation, run by Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, do extraordinary work, particularly women and girls, but notably around mental health. And I just want folks to know, not only are they in compliance, there's a technical paperwork issue that was wildly over hyped. And with respect, I hope people that ran those headlines run this headline, that it was a very typical technical issue around paperwork that persists for so many others as well, and they're in full compliance, and they're a celebrated organization that does great work in the state of California. So I wanted to clarify that because that's important, and I just thought there was a little bit of a piling on that was deeply unfair.
Not only did Governor Newsom did this, but we also have the California Attorney General confirming this information. The records show that the required payment was sent in last year and was delivered on schedule. So, a non-issue indeed.
Isn't it super interesting that whenever Harry and Meghan are on the international stage in a positive light, somehow something negative has to come out about them? Isn't that so interesting? At this point, it's so predictable after the success that the Sussexes had in Nigeria, especially Meghan Markle being welcomed with such open arms. All of a sudden, we're hearing declarations of delinquency to do with Archwell. And when you look closer at what's going on, it's literally not even that big a deal. But I get it. It must be super difficult to hate two individuals who you thought would need the help and support of your own monarchy, who are actually now excelling on their very own right, who just came off a very well-executed, well-planned trip to Nigeria, which overshadows those who are sitting in thrones in your own countries. It's okay, y'all. Everyone just needs to take a deep breath. And they will continue to help charitable causes with Archwell.
And I agree with her. The timing of this Archwell revelation was quite suspicious and predictable. And while there are sections of the UK media putting a negative twist to it, there are some within that sphere who are not afraid to say the quiet part out loud.
If William and Kate went to Nigeria, you wouldn't get that kind of reaction.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking the royal family are missing the stardust.
They are really and the thing is, I think they knew from the beginning that those two were the stars, but the whole point was it was meant to be William and Kate, and it never really happened.
That's why it went wrong, I think.
I think that's why it went wrong, and I think, look, if for me, I would bring them back into the fold and find a way to make it, one, just because family, and I'm a strong advocate for family, but I think, secondly, the value that they have and making sure that they're actually protected while they're here, they made the royal family look so much more relatable, the fact that there was an expansion in the family in that way, and everybody was really leaning in.
You don't think they would come back or should come back, but you do think the royal family would benefit from them being back?
I think most definitely, but the reality here, and there's a biblical saying that sums this up, the stone the builder rejected became the cornerstone.
Now, if you ever want to get Prince William to actually get out there and do some work, just let him know that his brother Harry is going to be out and about doing something. I know I'm not the only one who remembered seeing all the articles being written by royal correspondents who say, according to Kensington Palace, William will be focusing on the children and Catherine. There was even a slew of them saying that he will be working from home. But as soon as news came out that Harry and Meghan were going to be out and about, and it was confirmed that Harry would be in the UK and then going to Nigeria, we've seen Mr. Work from Home William out and about in these streets. Not only that, you see him and Charles coming together in order to give him another unearned honor and title. What else is new? But that is essentially the story of William's life. A bunch of honors and titles just simply handed to him, not because he's earned it, not because he works for it. He's to be king because he just happened to be born first, not because he has the proper temperament and would make a good one. He is the president of BAFTA, even though he has no sort of experience or expertise when it comes to the arts. He couldn't even be bothered to read the briefing. So that when he's interacting with the winners and nominees, he was completely clueless. He's the head of the Football Association, I believe. We've seen photos and videos of this man catching and kicking a ball. A hot mess. But here he is, the president. And now this, dressed up in camouflage, taking photos in front of an Apache helicopter. No experience, no expertise. And with all of the things that he has been given, just handed to him on a platter, he still doesn't seem to be very happy. Now, of course, I don't know the man. None of us do. But whenever you do see him, he never really radiates happiness or peace. Always seems to be a little irritated. Even with all of those things, he still seems to have a pathological obsession with Harry, with one-upping Harry, with having this one-sided competition. It's bizarre.
And the circus continues as Prince William is now being decreed as the figurehead of the Army Air Corps, Prince Harry's old regimental unit. If this isn't ridiculous, I don't know what is. But I don't know who's giving William advice about what to do in his life, when to do it, and how the public all over the world are going to perceive that messaging. But for him to be made the figurehead of Harry's old unit when Harry saw active service and combat and William has not is a major, major PR disaster. This photo incident and the whole event where William has received an honour from his father that he clearly does not deserve makes William look like a puppet in a huge circus, a huge machine where William is either too dumb to understand how people are going to perceive this stuff, or he's not getting the right advice, or he is getting the right advice and he is completely ignoring it. All this shows to me is how resilient Harry really is. Harry has taken lots of flack from the British royal family really since he met Meghan, right? We all know that, so it's years, coming up to a 5-year period now. Harry has to take this day in, day out of William being manipulated by his sheer stupidness into situations like this. A huge insult for Harry, a huge insult for every member, past and present, of that regiment.
In the last video, we briefly touched on the concept of the palace in conjunction with the press, and that in their quest to hurt Harry, dehumanize him, break his spirit, break his marriage, and essentially force him back into that gilded cage, does more damage to the crown and those within it than it does to the Sussexes.
During the time of the Windsors, the British media, as it came to be known, has grown from a minor imposition and promising new civic communication resource into a hydra-headed corporate monster dominating the social landscape with irresponsible, if not psychopathic, intent. The Windsors' failure to acknowledge this threat to peace in their kingdom, or to grapple with the beast as it overshadowed the palace itself, manipulating truth, principle, history, and power for its own gratification. Worse still, the palace's secret, craven collaboration with the monster, and the king's ignoble failure to back his own champion, his own son, when the young prince stepped up to the battle. For a noble lineage, these are historic missteps. With robber barons running the parliament, the mounting misery of the people will surely bring the downfall, not merely of the House of Windsor, but of the monarchy itself. And that's even if Prince William isn't morally or implicated in his wife's apparent disappearance.
Some members of the British press has been just the absolute worst during the duration of this trip. And this that we see here is just a very small fraction of it. What these correspondents are failing to realize is that they're simultaneously proving Harry and Meghan's point. Just further reinforces that so many within the royal bubble haven't really changed. They're still stuck in this very elitist mentality.
The 3-day visit of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to Nigeria continues to generate reactions globally. On Tuesday, Christopher Wilson, a journalist on the British royal family, in a now deleted tweet, compared Prince Harry and Meghan to the Duke of Windsor, Edward, who abdicated his throne in 1937 to marry an American divorcee, Wallis, and also compared Nigeria to Germany. I mean, you know that Nigerians have come for Christopher. I mean, there are a lot of untruths in his tweet. First of all, Prince Harry did not abdicate his throne. He stepped down from, official duties. He still has the title HRH at this moment. And obviously, we all know the story. I mean, a lot of historians know the story of the Duke of Windsor.
These people, this is that man that made that journalist that made that, Christopher, whatever he is the height of. He's just so jealous because Harry and Meghan came to Nigeria and they got relevance, and it's in your face. It's going to hurt you till the very end. I hope that this racism eats your bile up and it continues to eat you up, because we can't continue this way. How would you relate them to what happened in Nazi Germany and the fact that they abdicated, at first, like you said rightly, the scenarios are different.
Very different.
Secondly, these people came for a worthy cause in Nigeria, which is the Invictus Game. To be able to support veterans. Harry has built a brand with this Invictus Game that goes around the world and has supported a lot of veterans, and that's something worth celebrating. But because of the hatred and the bile that you have against this guy, just let him be. You know, with your monarchy that reigns supreme, that eats off the commonwealth of other people by doing nothing. What about your monarchy that took away all our resource in slave trade? You think we've forgotten Elephant and Castle? You think we've forgotten what you came to do here, that you took all our resources away and turn our tribes against each other to fight themselves? What about all the egregious things you've done for us in this continent? You've demeaned us. You say we are worthless, we're less than human beings, and you have the nerve and the unmitigated temerity to even go ahead and tweet this.
And not only did he tweet that, but his buddy Kevin O'Sullivan of Talk TV went on an absolute tirade about Harry and Meghan's trip that's equal parts bigoted, unhinged, and, well, a lie.
Our royal family would set foot in Nigeria. Genital mutilation is rife, where women's rights basically don't exist, where hundreds of kids are regularly kidnapped by... This is not a country that should be endorsed by anyone.
And that's simply untrue. There have been several members of the British royal family who have visited Nigeria on tours for decades. Charles and Diana, Charles on his own, Princess Anne, Charles and Camilla. So, again, Harry and Meghan have been telling us all along, they don't report the news, they create it.
How British, media reacted to Harry and Meghan touring Nigeria. And they said a lot of racist things. But one of the things I really want to talk about is when they call Nigeria gullibles because we have so many people who claim to be from royal families. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say Nigeria is perfect. Nigeria has problems. Everybody knows that. However, Nigeria is what? One of the most populous nations in the world. We have 220 million people, and that's just the official estimate. But one of the things I really want to take into consideration is that if you know anything about Nigerian history, one of the ways the British managed to rule effectively during colonization was through something called indirect rule, which means they went to local leaders of the Igbo tribe, of the Yoruba tribe, of the Hausa tribe, of the Fulani tribe, and then they bribed them in order to gain control over everybody in Nigeria. These fake royals that the British media is now trying to say are foolish, have no legitimacy, are the same people that the British government used to colonize Nigeria. So that means when they were benefiting them, they had legitimacy. But when it no longer fits their narrative, that's when it's stupid. This is why I say British form of racism is just so insidious, because it acts as if Nigerians or Africans in general lack common sense. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm a huge fan of the British royal family. They're colonizers. They colonized majority of Africa. But the thing is, whenever somebody interacts with Africa in not the way that they're used to, aka Prince, William and Kate's thing when they visited the Caribbean and were waving at people through a freaking cage. Any single time somebody interacts with an African country, they're human beings, we're human beings, we have a culture that is rich, and while it has some problems, has some benefits too. This is the kind of BS that they get. First and foremost, I don't think we should put anybody on a pedestal. The British royal family to the British royal family, but I hate seeing this kind of narrative about how, oh my god, look at the shit they're doing, Meghan is a fake princess. No, it's an official title. Just because it doesn't matter to you anymore doesn't mean that you can come and start talking bullshit about people's culture, our culture. British racism is just it's insane.
Meghan and Harry hating the Rangers are about to lose their shit. Check this out. The Telegraph, which is one of the most right-wing Meghan and Harry hating newspapers that has berated them since they left, has just published this story. I never thought I'd say this, but it's time to bring Prince Harry home. Even more tea. They are coming for William. They're coming for William big time. They are not happy with Willie. Check this. Recently, I spoke to a former palace official who used to work for both princes before the good times stopped rolling. There's public misconception about William and Harry. He told me it is William who was often the difficult one, and it is William who's preventing his father from having a proper reconciliation with Harry.
I don't doubt that William, Camilla, and palace courtiers are in King Charles's ears, telling him to stay away from Harry. But let's just keep it real. Charles does what Charles wants to do, so this isn't all on William.
He continued, "This isn't helpful at the point in time when the country would have buoyed by seeing them together again, as would be the king." So what does this all mean? Well, the British press are really annoyed at William because William isn't giving up the goods. Obviously with Katie being ill, and all the rumours about their marriage and this, that and the other, they were supposed to be the ones to deliver whatever it was that Meghan and Harry would be giving, you know, the new shiny toys, the young royals, the couples. And obviously William's not giving. And like, I work in marketing, digital, and I'm guessing that from a sort of commercial point of view with the papers, that when stories are written about William, it's just not getting as many clicks. It's not getting as many clicks and views. And even though Harry and Meghan are polarising and people love them or love to hate them, they are the ones that are selling papers, driving sort of usage online, and essentially that's how these papers make money. William and the rest of the royal family really are not doing this anymore. And obviously because of what's happened, they don't have access to Harry and Meghan, so they're pissed. And it seems like William's not being compliant with them. He's not giving them anything. There's no tea. There's no tea to be given. There's no sacrificial lamb. They can't throw anyone under the bus. Like, I think last year there was rumours that there was going to be an announcement of a divorce. And I think personally, I think that's, well, I did think it was William and Kate, which still could be the case, but probably not because there's so much at stake for that to happen. But then it could be Edward and Sophie. But they're probably thinking that if we do that, that's really going to turn things around and that's really going to take the pressure off, take the eyes off Harry and Meghan being the villains, right? It's just going to move the storyline to the royal family being in tatters. So William is not delivering them. He's not delivering them views. He's not giving them tea. He's not giving them content. And they are pissed at him. So they are slowly turning, well, not slowly, they've been turning on William for a while. Think about it, the stories that they've been writing about William in the last few months have not been kind. Prince William furious with Harry over his royal tour with Meghan and determined to stop them. Prince William preventing Charles and Harry reunion, says Queen Camilla friend. Bring Harry home. So basically, William's the new target. And even if he's not a direct target at the moment, the papers are giving him, it's a warning. You know, if like you're in the mafia, this is a warning that William, give us some content, or we're actually going to have to, as much as we hate it, start writing some nice stuff about your brother so we can work with him. Like, I genuinely think this is happening, guys. Also, I actually think the tables and the narrative on Harry and Meghan would have turned a while ago if Harry wasn't taking them all to the cleaners and suing all of their asses. Don't forget that this big court case is detrimental to these papers, not only for like reputation, it's losing them loads of money, it's dragging them in the mud, it's putting them into, you know, criminal kind of questions. So that is probably the only reason why in the last sort of 6 months, where the kind of tables have been turning a little bit, that they're sort of still writing crap about Meghan and Harry. Now, one thing that I haven't mentioned is they're not really talking anything nice about Meghan. I think they're going to find that really hard. But it feels like they are now basically wanting to swap Harry for William and maybe leave Meghan alone. Like, just don't say anything, don't say anything nice about her, but don't like come for her. I feel like that's what's in the making, but I could be completely losing it. What do you guys think?
I found this on Twitter, and honestly, I'm going to say something. I think this is the funniest comment ever. But basically, She said, "I never thought I'd say this, but it's time to bring Prince Harry home. The ill feeling between the Windsor boys has gone on long enough. Their reconciliation will be good for their family and the country." Huh? Like, let's think critically for a second. These are the same people that when Prince Harry married Meghan Markle were being racist to her. They were bullying her. It wasn't even about being mean. They're racist. Racist people. And now that the royal family, the whole monarchy, people are realizing that they're full of BS and, you know, everything that's been going on with Charles and William and Kate, now they want Harry to come back and save the day. Girl, bye. Meghan and Harry are not coming back.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, hit that notification bell.